Money is irrelevant to them. However, um, they both have what we might call ulterior motives. And so Tom's motives are just that he wants to be able to go and meet up with his girlfriend, and they've got a place set up to do it. He doesn't have to buy her all the stuff. Like, he could have an apartment. He doesn't have to fill it with stuff and, buy her all the things that she wants, but maybe he's just like, whatever, he doesn't care. If that's what keeps her happy and keeps her coming back, then that's fine. Gatsby, however, don't we have to suspect some kind of ulterior motive from him as well for throwing these big parties? Because he doesn't seem to really enjoy the socializing all that much. Like, he's not partying in the same sense that everyone else is. He does seem to like Nick, again, perhaps just out of narrative necessity. But he's up to something also. Now, and we get a hint of this finally at the end of chapter 3 or near the end, when he calls Jordan aside to speak to her privately, and she comes back going, "Oh my God, I've got to tell you about this, but I promised I wouldn't, so not right now, but like, call me later," or whatever. That's kind of what she says, right? Just paraphrasing in modern terms. So Gatsby said something to her that we suspect is going to be important, otherwise Fitzgerald wouldn't have made a big deal out of it like that. We don't hear of Gatsby pulling anyone else aside for a private chat in the library. It's just her. So.
Didn't Gatsby invite Nick to go on like a plane ride or something?
Yeah, like it sounded like maybe it was a hovercraft or something. It's some sort of a.
But I never saw that happen. He said like 9 in the morning. Was it still that late?
Yeah, and so I think it was 2 a.m. or something at the point that they're having that conversation, and he's, "Yep, we're going for a ride at 9 a.m." And then it doesn't mention that actually happening.
Yeah.
But maybe just hold on to that one for now. Just hold on to that one for now. So I don't think it ruins anything to say that Gatsby is up to something, because if he wasn't up to something, what would be the point of reading this book, right? There's got to be some sort of a plot involving him. And so he is up to something, and we're going to find out what that is in the next couple of chapters. But we can say, perhaps, getting back to Tom, in his defense, that he is perhaps a product of his environment like anyone else. So we don't like him, we're not supposed to like him, he's not a good guy in any way, but yet he has these areas in which he's not so bad. And I think what we have to conclude from that is that we don't need everyone to be 100% hero or 100% villain. And in fact, the story becomes less real, less believable, and less interesting if we have somebody who's 100% villain and someone who's 100% hero. You know, you've got Frodo and Sauron. I love me some Lord of the Rings, but the bad guy's just not interesting. Like, his essence is just badness. And we don't know where this story is going yet, and we're not sure to what extent Tom is the villain in it. We just know that he's not a very likable character. So let's go on from there. What time have we got? 2 o'clock. Okay. I have slides for George and Myrtle Wilson as well, as Jordan What's Jordan's last name? Baker, thank you. I'm not, well, let's talk about them briefly. I don't need to get too hung up on them right now because we maybe haven't developed them enough, if that makes sense. The author hasn't had enough time to develop them, but we'll touch on maybe what you should be looking for going forward. Jessalyn, do you want to pause that and then restart it in a minute?